Aryan. So in the afternoon, we scheduled completely user interface development with the Bootstrap. Actually, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Bootstrap basics. CSS basics, are you familiar with? Cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet, man, you are familiar with CSS. Yourself? CSS is okay. CSS is okay. CSS is okay. Because in CSS 1, 2, and 3 combined together, altogether there are 369 CSS properties available. 369, imagine. 369 CSS properties and roughly around 116 to 118 HTML tags available, including HTML4 and 5 tags. So we had a huge repository of examples of all this, complete HTML4, 5 tags, and complete CSS, 369 CSS properties. But here in our session is not meant for the CSS. It's a post CSS. And after knowing CSS, using CSS, how to build XML pages, if you know, with that we learn this Bootstrap topic. So tell me one thing with the CSS, usually what you will do. From my perspective, I do two things mainly with CSS. One is I'll do page layout designing with CSS. I'll do page layout. First of all, if you want to design a web page, what exactly you want? You don't want rich user interface components. What do you want? You want initially a nice layout, isn't it? You want one nice header, one nice horizontal menu, a nice vertical menu, the body section where the actual HTML page is displayed, and a footer, some dark themed or light themed footer. So whenever we want to design a web page, the page layout is very, very important. We are not just learning, HTML tags like how bold tag works, how italic tag works, how blink works, how mark works. Ultimately, we are going to design a web page. So in the web page, layout designing is very, very important. So with plain CSS, we do page designing in 3 ways. Do you know? With HTML and CSS3, we do page layout designing in traditional development. We do page development with 3 ways. One is using frames. Second one is using tables. And third one is using container tags called div, span, and paragraph. Nowadays, most of the web page layouts are built using div, span, and paragraph. Container tags. Container tags. In CSS, we should be familiar with that. And the margin, padding, left, top, width, height, display, float, clear. Roughly around some less than 10 CSS properties exist. With that, we can place rectangle boxes wherever you want. Those rectangle boxes we call header, horizontal menu, vertical menu, body, and footer. You draw one rectangle box with some div or paragraph or span there, and specify in which location it want to be placed. And that is how we build layouts. And now mostly we do page layout designing with divs, div and paragraph and with CSS properties. And second, CSS we use for various other stuff also, like borders, paddings, margins, background color, foreground color, background images, attachments, and a lot of other stuff. Border radius, border corners, table stylings, heading stylings, etc., etc. With CSS, we need to put a lot of effort for the layout designing and for the beautification of the web page. But in the Twitter, there are 2 developers who developed a framework called Bootstrap. Using CSS, they developed a Bootstrap framework. So with the invention of this Bootstrap, framework. To the developers almost, the web page layout designing, the page layout designing, effort got reduced to more than 80 to 90%, because being a co-developer, from my experience, I'm telling you, if you use Bootstrap, your 80 to 90% of the page layout, the designing effort will reduce. See, do you know what is framework? Framework means they frame and gives the work. They predefines and give you the work. You do this. You will get the guidelines. Guideline, finish. Framework. Every framework is like that. So in Bootstrap, there is a framework called 12 grid layout framework. 12 grid layout. 12 grid layout. In the HTML body, you take one div tag. From Bootstrap onwards, don't write any content directly in the body. Write everything inside. In the body, you write one div. Name the div class name as container. Div class name as container. And your actual HTML page body doesn't start from body tag. It starts from div with the class name is equal to container. From there you start. Because to the container, you can set the margins, paddings, and various other stuff. So the body, you cannot do that. Body itself is integral part of the browser. So you cannot adjust the position of the body, but you can adjust the position of the container, the div. That's why div class container. In div class container, for each row, you take one div class is equal to row. One row will be automatically created. One row will be automatically created. And Bootstrap says, such each row you can divide into 12 grids. Each row you can divide into 12 grids. And for example, if you take 1024 is your screen width, 1024 divided by some 12 grids. Roughly you will get some 75, 78 or roughly 80 less than pixels for each grid. So you utilize 12 grids in one row, whether you want to place image or you want to place table or you want to place text or anything, use those 80 pixel of 12 grids in one row. That is 1024 pixels, one row. Next again, you start open one more row, place 12 grids. Another row, 12 grids. Like that, if you do, the page sectioning and the dividing of the page can be made easy with the help of this 12 grid layout. Excellent topic. 12 grid layout you can apply with very minimum effort. Hardly within 15 minutes you can do this example. 12 grid layout example. One HTML tag, one body tag. Inside body div class is equal to container. Inside div class is equal to container. Div class is equal to row. Inside div class is equal to row. Div class is equal to column hyphen call. And each grid they'll call as column. Call hyphen MD hyphen 1. 1 means one grid. 2 means two grids. So if you give call hyphen MD hyphen 2, 6 are 12. 2 6 grid column. If you place within 6 grids, your entire row will be filled. Or column medium 1 or column medium 2 or column medium 3, each div if you take. 1 column or 2 column or 3 column width, each div will be created. In that you place your content. It's very nice. Whereas with the same, if you want to do with CSS, you need to play a lot of effort. So that is the beauty of the 12 grid layout. And almost I'm having around 118 examples on Bootstrap that I've already shared in our previous sessions to some of our faculties. 118 examples on Bootstrap. What not is available, you ask me? In Bootstrap, you are having every rich user interface component. Navigation bars, menus, tables.
So in the lab session, we'll do those things.
Lab session, yeah. So almost today afternoon and tomorrow we'll completely do practical on the Bootstrap only. And the last session we'll deal with how to develop a responsive designing with Bootstrap. You know, responsive web designing, what do you mean by responsive web designing? Responsive web designing. Responsive web designing, it is not just like giving HTML request and you're getting the response. It's not an server communication response. Responsive web designing. Responsive web designing is like device dependent.
You can open in the web browser or laptop or mobile
or
based on the
TV.
type of device that will
TV. And the three things will come here: device, orientation, and dimension. To display a web page as a responsive page, you need three things: device, dimension, and orientation. Device, for example, mobile, next to mobile, tab, next to tab, desktop, next to desktop, TV. 4 devices. Across out of these 4 devices, out of all these 4 devices, which orientation are you going to use? In the mobile, which orientation are you going to use? In mobile, we can use both portrait and landscape orientation. Am I right? Usually portrait. If you want to watch some video or play game, you will open it in a landscape.
You can put like this. Automatically it will set.
Automatically, it will change. Screen rotation. Excellent. Same thing you can do with the tab also. Both portrait and the landscape. But coming to the system, we'll see only landscape or portrait, only one word. The screen resolution change.
With the laptop or desktop. But when the mobile comes, you are able to rotate like this. Automatically that is setting.
And last one is TV. TV you can't change, you can't. So according to your device, according to your orientation to the clear, portrait and landscape. According to dimension of the mobile, dimension of the tab, dimension of the laptop, dimension of the TV. According to your device, automatically the screen will be rearranged. That is what called as responsive web designing. And then once if you design a web page without making any changes with specific to any device, the same web page should be able to open on all the devices, all orientations and all dimensions. That is what called as responsive web designing. So the one which you talked about is AJAX communication, asynchronous communication with server. So is this clear?
In Web 1.0, the responsive was not there. In Web 2.0, they have introduced the responsive web page.
Responsive pages.
Earlier in the static pages, it was not there. In the second step, they have introduced. So you will say that one, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0. How the evolution has come in web development.
That is very important.
Just introduction.
And the next one is JavaScript. Most of you are familiar with, I believe. See, JavaScript content is very simple. And conditions, loops, operators, arrays, everyone knows. JavaScript contains 10 classes, 18 events. That's all. 10 classes, 18 events. JavaScript consists of. If you're familiar with these, you can use the basic level of JavaScript. Events like on load, on unload, on about, on change, on select, on blur, on focus, on key up, on key down, on key press, mouse 5 events. That's all. 18 events altogether we get. Mouse over, mouse out, mouse enter, mouse over, mouse enter, mouse out, mouse down, mouse up, mouse click, double click. 18 events will come if you count on the fingertips. 18 events and around some 10 classes. With that JavaScript also you can easily learn. I'll come to that introduction also. Web 1.2, 2.2 introduction. In that I'll come to introduce about JavaScript, that basics also. And very important in the JavaScript is knowing regular expressions. Every language developer should know regular expressions. Whether it may be JavaScript or Java or PHP or Python or C++, everywhere, every developer must be familiar with regular expressions. Regular expression, if you want to be familiar, one page document is enough. Occurrence specifiers, some one page document is there. That one page document, if you read and practice for one day, you will get to thorough with the regular exercise. Because I changed the direction. I changed that. Dark అదే మెంటర్ ఫేస్ నాట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ కదా, లేకపోతే నేను నిల్చుంటాను. ఇప్పుడు స్కిన్ విజిబుల్ అండి, ఫేస్ ఫేస్ విజిబుల్. ఓకే, faces. So JavaScript portion is also included on Wednesday. That is also there in our schedule. And then from 4th day onwards, right, on Thursday onwards, we'll completely start React.js. React.js, it will go as per the schedule only. And how to install the React.js in our system, how to run it. And as per the curriculum only, this entire schedule will go on from Thursday onwards. React.js, Friday React.js, Saturday also React.js. Saturday afternoon, we actually planned integrating the React.js with the PHP. The next, again, Monday React, chat application in React, Redux, so this is for state management. Chat application, again Tuesday, Redux toolkits, database handling, finally developing a web application. And within this 2 weeks program, most of the curriculum is covered on React. First few sessions are covered on Bootstrap and JavaScript. Okay. Sorry, close it. Yeah. So next screen. Yeah. So coming to the evolution of the web development. Do you know how Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 is different from each other? From your developer perspective, you need to tell a lot of technology story behind the programming. From the user perspective, do you know how Web 1.0 and 2.0 is? A simple example. Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 from the user perspective. I'll give you a small example. The best example which I can give you is email login screen or our Samvida portal. So you will get a login screen. You enter username and password. Click on login. Suppose if your username and password is wrong, username or password, anything is wrong, immediately you will get an error message in red color. on the login screen above, saying that your login credentials are wrong. Maybe password may be wrong or username may be wrong. Your login credentials are wrong, it says. I'm seeing this without refreshing the page or without reloading the page. Because after to display your login credentials are wrong, to display that small message, reloading entire Samvida portal with the logo, again, username, password, text fields, and 2 buttons, like in the below populate information. Because our page is having a very less graphical content. Some pages are having a lot of rich graphical content. After all, to display one small error message, bringing such a big, rich graphical content from the server and displaying on the browser, displaying small error message would be very, very expensive. Mainly, it will consume the bandwidth. I'll tell you a small story about the bandwidth. Now, no one is caring the bandwidth of your internet because everyone is having 1.5 GB to 2 GB bandwidth in our mobiles for every day. And at home also, we are taking a pack of almost 1.5 GB per month, and we are using it. 1.5 GB, yeah, that's 3000 GB, some 1000 GB, something like that. We are paying some 800 rupees. In the corona pandemic beginning, myself is having classes at home. My all 3 children are having class at home. The 1000 or 1500 GB, the package of Act Fiber Net, the pack is getting exhausted by the 15th of every month because everybody is attending online classes morning from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. Again, evening some music classes, that class, this class. Even talking to the friends is also over Zoom. 15,000, 1500 GB. Not even I used to consume 200 to 300 GB per month at my home because when we are spending at home, we are mostly in the college or they are in the schools and colleges. So 200-300 GB is also not consumed before pandemic. During pandemic, 1500 GB bandwidth is getting consumed by 10th or 15th of every month. One day afternoon, I'm sleeping because no class. I'm sleeping. So immediately one call came from the representative, business representative, Act Fiber Net. He said, "Sir, your 1500 GB bandwidth is exhausting by the end of 10th or 15th of every month. Why don't you increase the bandwidth to 2000? I said, "Chalo, how much it will cost additional?" See, he said, "Sir, 300 more." So 800 to 300 means 1100 to 1200. I said, okay. He increased the bandwidth to 3000. 3000, and currently the bandwidth is 3500 GB. Its cost is 1500 per month. 1500 per month. 1500 per month. 3500 GB bandwidth, madam. If you are not having classes at home, not even 200 GB will be consumed. Rest of the 3300 GB bandwidth will be almost waste. That will be available only for the online sessions. That bandwidth is. That bandwidth is available only for the online sessions. If online sessions are going on, almost 1/10 of my bandwidth given by Act Fiber Net every month is almost of waste. Is of no use. I'm paying 600 rupees. And a reducing plan and increasing plan again is a headache. I said, okay, chalo. We are spending a lot of amount. 1500 is not a big amount. So it's okay. 3500 GB, 3300 GB, I'm not spending. And why I'm telling about this, because the bandwidth consumption is very, very important in 1.0. To display same similar page with small error page, the entire page used to submit to server, and again same page used to download back onto the client with small error message. With a lot of delay, the user need to wait on the system to get that screen. Lot of bandwidth consumption. Previously, we don't used to get bandwidth consumption. Now you imagine the bandwidth consumption. And for small message, again getting the whole graphical content from the server is a bandwidth consumption and client latency. Okay, fine. If you successfully log in, your Samvida portal page will come or Google page will come. The Gmail inbox page will come. Then that time the login page should go off, the inbox page should come. And completely it's a replacement of one page with another page. But initially, if your user credentials are wrong to display that, unloading the page and loading the same page again with a small error message, is it? Is the unnecessary page reloading or not? That is what Web 2.0 addresses. In the Web 2.0, we do a lot of interactions with the web page. We do a lot of interactions with the web page. What interaction we do with the web page? You will click on the text. You will click on the image. You will type something in the text field. You will type something in the text field. You will select the checkbox and radio buttons. Drop down box. Or you may move mouse over on the images. These are the general interactions, events. We call them in JavaScript, we call them as events. Generally, we'll do these types of events on the web. We see, being a user, you don't keep idle on the web browser, right? You'll move mouse here and there, you'll do something. For your each and every interaction in the web page, your each and every interaction with every element, every event, if that event fires a request to server, are you getting the point? For that every event, if the request is fired to server, and if one more page is loaded back onto the browser, how much bandwidth will consume? A lot of bandwidth will consume. Example, I have an idea app. Every month, I'll pay my idea bill payment through idea app. Myself, my missus and institute, 3 numbers, same ID number we'll use, and 3 different numbers, but all are having idea service provider. So every month when I go to idea, that app, first they'll ask me my mobile number. I'll type my number, 9841188. On the mobile app, I'm telling you, the moment I type 98481188, each and every digit they'll count. On change event they'll write on the text field. The moment I enter 10 fields, they'll immediately verify whether this ID number is correct or not. First point. And the validation on change event for every character change in the text field. In the background, the JavaScript developer will write event handling. For every character change, they'll take the entire text on the text field. They'll pass it into one function called parseInt, checks whether it is a number or not. If it is not number, immediately they'll display wrong error message saying that you entered wrong. Suppose if you enter any alphabet, immediately they'll say wrong mobile number. Exactly after entering 10, in no time, they will immediately display 483 rupees is your monthly bill, because mine is a postpaid. 483 rupees is a monthly bill. Your operator is Idea Vodafone, and some etc. The statements they print, and they'll ask us to click and proceed. And how they brought, the moment I entered my 10-digit mobile number, within no time they displayed my bill amount, my operator and other stuff on the screen, and what date I paid last month, all my history. I was surprised. When you click on proceed, the screen immediately switches to another screen, or it will just scroll up and immediately they'll ask from which bank you want to pay them. I'll choose an HDFC Bank or SBI or something. They don't ask even amount, because same bill amount I'm paying. They'll ask about only the bank. If you click on proceed, they'll ask for the PIN. The moment you enter PIN, you will immediately get a receipt saying that your bill payment is over. Previously, we used to engage one office boy to make all this electricity, telephone, and all these bill payments. Now, myself sitting 1 hour at home, monthly once, I'm making all the bill payments. Property tax I'm paying, current bill I'm paying, all phone, land phones, telephone bills, internet bills, everything I'm paying within 1 hour. Monthly once if I sit. It's all happening because of Web 2.0. And in Web 2.0, whatever event you do, whatever data want to go to server, and what response want to brought back to browser, only that content will go on, that response will come to the browser instead of unloading the entire page and reloading the same page again and again. That is what avoided in Web 2.0. Mostly such 2.0 applications we will call as single page applications. The single page application is having a lot of meaning. But on the same page, whatever the new things comes, they will be rendered on the same web page. One small, the slide I presented here. This is a traditional page lifecycle, XML page lifecycle. So here you see there's the XML page. If you make any HTTP request, HTTP www. If you request for some HTML page to the web server used to download the HTML page to the browser. Now, in the HTML page, you enter some data. From the HTML page, you will submit 4 types of data. Technically speaking, from the HTML page, you will submit 4 types of data. The 4 types of data are post data, put data, delete data, and get data. Then, if your data is something new, you want to post to the server, the data is called as post data. We'll send it through a HTTP post. Technically, a lot of things involved inside HTTP post 6 months. Second, if you want to submit something like my mobile number, I want to get my bill details. When is the last payment? When last month I paid? How much is the current bill amount? In these details, if I want to get, only if I submit my mobile number, I should get my bill details. Which HTTP method do I use? Get. If I'm submitting HTML form, the data wants to make some changes on the server system, like update. Then we'll use HTTP method put. If you want to submit something to the server, the data want to be deleted from the server. We'll use delete method. Then we'll use HTTP delete method. See this HTML page key. You enter something in the HTML form. Using HTTP post, the request has been submitted to server. Back to browser. And initially you got one page. You submit that page. As a response, you got this. This is internet bandwidth consumption. Client needs to wait a lot of time on the system to get the new pages again and again. And waste of getting the same page again and again. That is what I mean. The web 2.0. So whichever portion you click, whichever portion you want to update, only that data will go to server, only response will come, only that portion of the web page will be updated. Instead of reloading the entire page. That reduces your bandwidth consumption, your client latency. No page unnecessary reloads again and again. This is what 2.0 suggests. Make changes only on the same page again and again instead of reloading one page. So see the next slide. This is a single page application lifecycle. We call it SPA. Because of after the development of Ajax. Because Ajax avoids the traditional form submission. Only required content will go, required response will come back from the server to client. And will be that will be updated in the browser. So by seeing that so many number of frameworks are developed after the evolution of Ajax. It all started in the year 2005. In 2005, there is one developer from Google called Jesse James Garrett. His name is Jesse James Garrett. He actually developed this Ajax concept. In this Ajax concept, what they'll do is, this is what that Ajax concept is. So you make Ajax request to server. Ajax request is nothing but your HTTP request. But not, if you submit HTML submit button, the form submits to server, isn't it? Not that submission. It's a HTTP request submission, not made by the browser. It is made by one special class called XML HTTP request class. What is the class name called? XML HTTP request class. The class name is XML HTTP request. The class is developed by that person, the developer. This is James Garrett. With this, your traditional form submission will stop, but your form will be submitted. How? Asynchronously. In the background of the browser, your request will be submitted to server. Even as a user, you don't know your form, your page, your HTML form, data is going to the server that you don't know. Because you don't find your page is unloading, reloading a page. without your knowledge, only the data will go from your form to server. Please will remain like that. Request will go, response will come back, and that response will be rendered back onto the browser. And that response will be rendered back onto the browser. So how to do this? It is very simple in JavaScript. It's very simple in JavaScript. In JavaScript, there is a class given name called XML HTTP request. What is the class name called? XML HTTP request. XML HTTP request. It is having methods C, open, send, name some methods are there. In the open method, what is the argument? HTTP method, post or get. Second argument is URL. Third argument is whether you want asynchronous communication with server or not. The moment you call, remember, previously we used to write form, method is equal to post, action is equal to some server URL, form data, then input type is equal to submit. When you click on the submit, port is used to transmit to server. Now don't do it. Completely you remove input type is equal to submit button from your HTML form. Don't write submit button. Don't write form method is equal to post, action is equal to something. Remove it. Take something in the text field. On change event or one on button click event. On click of the event, you call that function. Create one XML HTTP request object. Give the server URL, get method or post method you give, and just call send. If you call send, from here what is going here? Mobile number is equal to, your mobile number will go to server. Only your mobile number will go to server, not your entire page is getting dispersed. Only your mobile number will go to server. From the server, what you will get as a response? Your bill amount, due date, and your service provider. Idea Vodafone. Your due date is some on 12th you need to pay, 12th July 2022, and some bill amount is 483 rupees. These three you should get from the server. And your request goes from browser, but not browser submission. It's XML HTTP request object submission to the server. Only your data will go. So outside, what technologies do you use? Same again, Java, Servlet JSP, ASP, PHP. Majorly Java, .NET, PHP. Now recently, few companies are using Python also. Python not for the much for the web, mostly for the some data science and other related stuff. So mostly server-side technologies means you can imagine Java or .NET or PHP. That will take your request, sends your mobile number to database, Oracle or MySQL, something you will connect, get the data. In what way the response should come back to the browser? Previously, if you submit your mobile number, Servlet used to take your mobile number, regenerate whole page with your mobile number, amount, last date, service provider, by filling that HTML page. And then with few fields, the entire HTML page it used to submit back to the browser previously. Now only from the server what you will get is these three values: bill amount, due date, and service provider. You will get in three formats. One is CSV, comma separated value. Second one is XML. Third one is JSON. Most recent one is JSON. Most recent one is JSON. JSON format alone చెప్పండి. In the JSON, flower basis, field name, colon, value, comma, field name, colon, value, comma, field name, colon, value. So what is the difference between CSV and comma separated value? You tell me. I don't find any difference. Comma separated value, JSON there is no difference. In JSON, every object is enclosed in flower basis. In CSV, there is no flower basis. But in both the things, in comma separated value, you will have field name is equal to value comma, field name is equal to value. In JSON, field name colon comma, field name colon comma, field name colon comma. Each object you will enclose in one bracket. If you are having multiple objects, you will enclose in square bracket array. From server or XML or CSV, back to your JavaScript, that code. Here you read the data and why this AngularJS, Angular, React, Vue, these many frameworks came, for this reason. You got the data from server to browser. You tell me how to update and how to display that output back on your browser. How to display the data you got from the server. How do you display the data onto browser? So in the browser, anything you want to display, you should display it in a HTML form. In HTML form, you tell me how many types of objects exist in HTML, regularly used, and moral I'll tell you. Regularly used objects in HTML. Element, also we call as tags. Word, B is a tag, B is a tag, span is a tag, div is a tag, table, row, table, heading, table, data, all are tags, right? Tags. Inside tag will write attribute is equal to value. BG color is equal to red, something like that. The tags, inside tags, attributes. And next, text. The whatever plain text you place in between two start tag and end tags is a text. And sometimes subtags. Paragraph, under paragraph, and div, and span, and span, one table, something like that. The tags, elements, attributes, text. Mainly, you will display these on the web browser, right? So the response comes from server. That response coming from the server you should take. Sir, you should be able to generate new HTML tags, new HTML attribute values. Text should be able to dynamically generate on the browser and take that content in the browser. And how do you generate HTML dynamically on the browser? For that, there is a special API is available in JavaScript called HTML DOM. HTML DOM. To make that HTML DOM simplification, this AngularJS, Angular, React, Vue, these many headache number of frameworks came because of that HTML DOM. Main adjunct. In story just to teach the importance of why React, we left React. We had almost 1 hour story. This entire story concludes finally how to use DOM HTML and how to dynamically generate HTML using HTML DOM API. Previously, that we used to do in JavaScript using window.document. Document familiar statement in Japan. Window.document get element by ID, get one ID tag. Window.get elements by tag name, elements by tag name. Same tag name, multiple elements exist now. Get elements by class name, like create element, replace child, remove child, insert before, append child. This is called as HTML DOM API. With this HTML DOM API, we used to generate new XML content and we'll update it on the browser. And if JavaScript for server side asynchronous communication, an XML HTTP request object like should exist. With this, the form data will go to asynchronously to server. You will get the response. To read the response, you need CSV parser, JSON parser, or XML parser. These are all available in JavaScript. Not only in JavaScript, boss. Even in these regular frameworks also, you should learn all this. XML parser, JSON parser, CSV parser. With that, you will be able to read data coming from the server. Again, to update that content back to the browser, you need to generate a new HTML. You need a HTML DOM. How to create new element and a new tag. How to create new text. How to add text to element to somewhere in your. This is the entire story. In this story, developing such a dynamic, this is called as dynamic HTML also. Generating such a dynamically HTML on browser is also called as DHTML. But in DHTML, there is one small problem. If frameworks DHTML is having a small problem. DHTML is having one small problem. The problem with the DHTML is somewhere in the HTML page, if you want to modify some text, small text. Suppose if you want to make some small change in the HTML document in the traditional JavaScript, you need to start from the beginning of the HTML document. HTML document, somewhere you need one small change, a small portion want to be updated, something want to be replaced, or something want to be newly updated. You start from the beginning of the HTML document. Document. Window.document and document.get element by it is like window.document. Document element named one method is there. Document element named one property or method. That will give root element. From the root element, you should get all the child elements. From the child elements, you get the child element, child element. You navigate up to the place where your actual content exists. You go up there, replace that content or modify that content. For small change in the HTML document, reading the document from the body to depth where your node exists. This is called as DOM tree. You navigate through entire DOM tree to make small change. How much programming you need to write in the HTML DOM? You don't read HTML, you don't read CSS. But only HTML DOM API that much to go to that level depth. Reading parent element, its child elements, its child elements, its child elements. So until you will be maximum exhausted with writing this DOM logic to make one small change in the HTML document. This is a development consuming. For to replace this Angular and React, these frameworks came. These, especially React became very, very popular nowadays. Previously Angular was dominating. Now recently React has dominated the entire market. React has one good thing, that it has one concept called a virtual DOM. Virtual DOM. The moment if you use React in any HTML document, it will read the entire HTML document. It will read the entire HTML document. What is parent element, sub element, entire it reads entire HTML document. It will make one copy of virtual DOM in the memory. It will keep one copy of virtual DOM in the memory. And for each fragment, they will put some ID, something. In the React, wherever you do modifications, and to whichever tag you want to make changes, they'll first make changes in the virtual DOM. The virtual DOM is nothing but one more copy of the entire DOM they'll make into one more, in the RAM only, in one more memory portion, they'll store that entire tree, they'll store it into one more virtual DOM. It is a separate DOM, a copy of DOM. They'll make changes, whatever changes we do. And once changes is completed, for this beautiful React lifecycle is given. That I don't cover now, I'll cover later on, a very big lifecycle. And whichever portion you modified in the original DOM, this virtual DOM will go and modify only that portion, instead of reading from the beginning of the DOM. That reduces the program execution time, that increases your performance of the application to a very huge extent. React.js became popular because of that virtual DOM. It makes changes only wherever is necessary, instead of again, coming from the top of the HTML document to the portion where the changes are made. And second one is, Angular, this React, all these frameworks became popular because of one more small reason. The reason is until 2014-15, the JavaScript was only a processor language. The JavaScript was only a processor language. You can write only functions. Inside functions, you can use JavaScript predefined classes. JavaScript predefined classes. Window, string, date, math. number, array, boolean, regular expression, and 8 predefined classes. With these 8 predefined classes, you create these class objects in JavaScript functions. You do validations and do some stuff, logic stuff you do with these 8 classes. But you can't write your own classes. You can't do inheritance. You use all object orientation concepts in JavaScript. You don't have encapsulation. You don't have inheritance. You don't have abstraction. You don't have polymorphism. I mean, abstraction is missing.
That is object-based.
Object-based JavaScript is.
There is difference object-based and object-oriented.
Object-oriented.
Java is object-oriented. JavaScript is object-based.
You can't write your own classes in JavaScript.
You can use only. In object-based, whatever the objects are exist, you can use. Where in the case of object-oriented, you can create your own object.
You can create your own classes.
Abstraction, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism. That freedom was not there in there.
And I see in the programming, because of the lack of object-oriented programming, this client-side development became a huge task. Because of lack of object-oriented programming, the JavaScript is very limited. That is what, as I said, object-based language JavaScript is. Because of that lack of object-oriented programming strength, we used to write no reusability. For small thing also, we need to write a lot of coding. There is no proper model. There's no proper limitations are found in the JavaScript programming. That's why I think developed in JavaScript. And we want scripting language on client, but which is not an object-oriented programming. All object-oriented programming, the features are missing in the programming. See, why Java became popular? Because of not only platform independence or security or something, because of strong object-oriented programming features, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. Message passing is common, mainly abstraction. Nearly 18,000 plus classes are developed in Java. Most of them are interfaces and classes. Such a huge API is developed because of abstraction. Java connects to every software, every device, every product. Java software connects. Object-oriented programming is really powerful. I mean, those who experience, to them, they know object-oriented programming is really a powerful choice. But to write client-side scripting, there's no object-oriented programming available. With the JavaScript, you can't expand the programming. For small scale application, AngularJS is good. But if application size increases, as I said, no reusability, modularity is less, because of due to these reasons, then the industry thought we developed one more technology called Angular. The Google vendor himself, initially he developed AngularJS, but he developed JavaScript and he found AngularJS is not that powerful for the programming because it's not object-oriented, right? So then what they thought is, okay, we'll name the brand name Angular, but we'll develop one more framework called Angular. Previous one is AngularJS, so it's Angular. In Angular, again in the Angular, if they use JavaScript, same limitations. There is no object-oriented programming. Hence, one C# programmer, I don't remember his name, C# programmer, he developed a programming language called TypeScript. It is an object-oriented programming language, exactly same as Java. TypeScript. Same, its syntaxes are mostly like Java. He developed TypeScript language for some Microsoft development. Google hired that TypeScript. On the TypeScript, he developed this Angular software. Angular became popular, but with Angular, there's one problem. That Angular applications you need to type in a file extension called .ts. TS and TypeScript. And you write complete program in TypeScript, but which browser will understand TypeScript? Which extensions browser will understand? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Images to audio video. Is any browser, do you know that understands TypeScript extension? No. And if you develop application in Angular, again you need compiler to compile TypeScript into JavaScript. Angular lone development use this language TypeScript. Angular is framework and that TypeScript language he used. Again to convert TypeScript to JavaScript, you need TypeScript compiler. And then transpiler under transpiler and transcript translator.
It will translate from TypeScript to again JavaScript. Because our browser will understand JavaScript.
No. Again JavaScript interpretation. And the compilation interpretation or transpiler they call it. And because of Angular is having its own advantages. And some limitations are there. And again the React.js came. React.js is purely developed in Facebook developed React. See in the React last just before coming to IRE around some 1 year back, I started React, and after coming here, I took 2-3 class sessions, faculty development sessions, etc. And now also we are doing in the entire React.js. You need not have to learn anything other than basic how to use object-oriented concepts in React. That if you understand, if you understand how to use React is internally uses. I could look at a point. How but React came because Angular he got maturity a little bit early before 2014, 15, 16 somewhere. He used a TypeScript as a language for developing Angular. In 2015, ECMAScript 6 came and a higher version of JavaScript. An object-oriented version of JavaScript came in 2015. That React.js took as an advantage. EA6 entire. In 2015, JavaScript introduced with some new features. First feature is OOTS, finish. First feature is OOTS. The moment OOTS feature is introduced in the JavaScript, immediately React took that. And on that object-oriented programming basis, he developed so many number of libraries in React. Now React is completely using object-oriented JavaScript. You directly write JavaScript, no tool is required again to convert from TypeScript to JavaScript. JavaScript itself is this. So it directly runs on the browser. Only how to use object-oriented JavaScript and TypeScript if you understand some concepts like state, property, events, methods, routers, state management with Redux and Flux, and HTTP service. React you can learn with very, very less effort. And if you understand the basic concepts. So for the basic concepts, we want to spend a lot of time. Familiarity rananki. And for that, one thing is to practice React, you need internet.
Without internet, you cannot do.
Without internet, you cannot do. And once if you create a project, at least 250 to 300 MB modules are downloaded from internet in your project. And then your project execution starts. So initially you need internet. Once if internet is there and project once downloaded, from there onwards the execution will go very fast. So hope you understood Web 1.0 and 2.0 difference. That whole pay summation is avoided. Required portion should go, required portion should come. These frameworks, majorly they are meant for how to update HTML back on the browser is their main effort. This Angular, React, they server-side communication, one small function or class call if they make, server-side communication will take place. Once after getting the content back, how to update onto the browser is a major challenge. With a lot of object-oriented programming languages like TypeScript and object-oriented JavaScript, they manage. That's how we are learning Angular and React. And one framework you learned was, I'm sure the remaining frameworks will take hardly 1 week to 10 days time to understand the remaining frameworks. I found Angular React development, I found same. One main file is there. In that file, we'll add other files. Those files we'll call as components. There also we'll use components. Here also we'll use component. Nothing but class.
Functional component, class.
Function class method. Component and class. Finish. Properties and variables. Function. When you click on something, whatever you call events. Terminology is very damn easy, man. If you understand writing React programming, then the terminology, madam. We may not very big build applications. We build small applications only, but we'll make React content very clear in this section. Let's do that two week programs. Every day we are having practical. Yeah, yes. React, you have to install.
Details word. Details word.
Details
Word the purpose. Pump all terminal.
Text file.
Yeah. Details. Next, in the coming days, we'll discuss about all these things.
We discuss. Madam layout discuss. JavaScript మీరు 18 డిస్కస్ చేస్తారు.
Just ఒకసారి go through it. There are things we go through in the entire system.
బ్రేక్ ఇచ్చేసి చెప్పేసి ఆపేద్దాం. బ్రేక్ ఇచ్చి చెప్పేసి అక్కడ. Shall we take some 10 minutes break?
Yes, sir.
No, we don't go anywhere outside. We'll just take 10 minutes break here. And after that, we continue the session. It's okay. And then, instead of having continuous session, I thought of having a small break.
So, our audio